looking at the chair. And I remembered when I was in junior high school and high school. Remember, you get up in front of the class, and I couldn't talk.
Oh, that's a bad thing when you're a DJ.
Well, it's worse when you're a talk show host. I'll tell you that.
That's even worse. Yeah.
And so, you know, it got to the point where I was really, that 5 minutes seemed like 10 days to me.
Oh, boy. Your anxiety level must have been through the roof.
Oh, I'll tell you, I was scared. So anyway, you know, all of a sudden the guy starts talking about the local weather, and I know at that point I'm going on the air next. So here's the guy in the next room, right, between me and the other room, you know, the glass window.
Right.
You know, because he also does the engineering. He's pointing at me, which means I go on the air.
Oh,
okay.
Boy. I just had a vision of WKRP when they used to do the same thing, and the guys be running around nervous, not wanting to talk. Oh, my goodness.
Well, that's what happened, you know, and so, you know, there was probably about a minute and a half of dead air, and all of a sudden I started hearing banging on the door for the studio because, hey, you know, the station manager and the owner was really freaking out as bad as I was. And so I picked up the first line, and, you know, they started talking about, I can remember it so distinctly, up in Battleground, Vancouver, Washington area, at that time, and this is back around 76, people were going missing, and there was a cult in the area.
Oh, my. Wow.
So the first caller started talking about that. Now, you have to understand something. I never read the newspaper. I never watched the news, because I didn't think I had to. I thought I was going to be a famous, DJ doing top 40,
Yeah, exactly.
So I had to wing it. All of a sudden, after I, my first night doing the show, which was 4 hours long, talking about paranormal, and that's how I really got into it. All of a sudden, after the show was over, the owner made a point of hanging around at the radio station along with them. And I thought I was going to be fired. Okay. They said, "Oh, we loved it. We've had more phone calls than ever with you being on." And I go, "Oh, that's awesome. Well, you know what? Your show is now all paranormal."
So that was your introduction to paranormal talk radio.
That was and I did that for quite a few months, doing paranormal radio, and then I didn't like the wages I got. So
I got to ask you something real quick, Gary. Your first into talk paranormal radio. I know it's kind of maybe rude to ask, but what years in a ballpark was that? Was that 80s, 90s, 70s?
1976.
Well, the reason I asked, because I'm going to tell you something. There was like hardly any paranormal talk that I know of back in 76. At least not in my area of the country. So you were kind of groundbreaking then.
Yeah, it was, because everything at that time was basically politics and the local community talk radio.
In my area, it was all sports talk. If it wasn't sports talk at night, those were dime a dozen. And I'd have loved to hear paranormal talk back in the 70s when I was, 12, 14, whatever.
So that's, how it went. And, it was really cool. So my second job, it was going to be doing top 40. So I auditioned to the thing. I sent my tapes in. They loved it. The owner of the radio station was the owner of KAYO. They had a radio station in Mount St. Helens, Washington, and they were playing top 40 when I applied for the job and was accepted. Again, I moved down to Vancouver, Washington, right?
Yep.
Get myself an apartment. I go in there, a day before I start. And they said, "Well, we're not doing top 40. We just changed the format because, when you went and interviewed at KAYO, they were famous at the time. It was a lady owned the station. I can't even remember her name anymore. I'm getting old. But it was country music. And they converted that station over to country."
Oh, my. That's your That's not what you wanted to hear, I can assure you.
Well, do you remember earlier when I said that
Yeah.
I could not do a country accent? I could do a like North Carolina type an accent type of thing, you know?
And probably fake. They could tell it wasn't real one too, probably.
Probably. And that, you know, is how it started. And I got on there and, I did everything right, but they kept saying, "Oh, come on. You got to get a country accent." I said, "I'm trying." They said, "Oh, come on. You sound like you came from, like Alabama or the Carolinas. You don't have a country accent." I said, "I can't put one on." So they took another announcer, a DJ there, right? That
they dubbed you over?
It took me in a room for hours trying to teach me how to put a country accent on.
That is hilarious. I will say this much, in case the people out there don't know. You do one of the best Ronald Reagan impersonations I've ever heard. I will say that for you. Not the South Carolina Ronald Reagan, but the other Ronald Reagan.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much on that.
You do awesome with Reagan. I will give you that.
Well, it's a long story on that too.
But I haven't heard your country version.
But anyway, I don't have a country version. So that was one of the shortest lived radio careers working at a radio station I ever did. I think I stayed there about a week and a half and I was fired. Not because my show wasn't bad.
Right.
Either I had no accent or I had a Southern accent, but I didn't get the Western draw, which they wanted. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
They couldn't get the twang out of you, and look at the hours they invested to try to teach you, and you still couldn't get it beat in your head. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, KOHI, and I know you're still in existence in Vancouver, not Vancouver, it's Mount St. Helens, Washington. What can I say? I tried,
That's all you can do, Gary. That's all you can do.
I couldn't do it.
So then eventually you must have got back into paranormal radio somewhere along the line.
Oh, no, I did top 40 for a little while.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Oh, yeah. And, a couple stations like KVAC up in Forks, Washington, where they did that, vampire movie series.
Okay.
Then that's again, they lied to me. They lied to me. The owner, Buddy Howard, which is deceased, I can say his name now, told me, "Hey, you'll love it here." Okay? Yeah. Now, and they were going from country to top 40. Well, I hate to say it. He was a very religious person, the owner of the station. And, hang on for a minute. We got somebody calling in here. Hey, you're calling in early, Michael.
I know that. I was just wondering if you guys need any help tonight. I understand your guest didn't show up.
No, he's interviewing me about my radio career.
Oh, I know. You're doing great. This is fantastic. I'll let you go back to your thing.
Okay, we'll be talking to you on your show here shortly.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Okay, my friend.
Bye.
Bye. So here I got lost. Okay, so it was owned by the church where they sent out missionaries to people, Mormons. It was owned. Oh, we lost. I lost the host of the show. Well, he needs to call back. So let's hope he calls back here, because I don't want to interview myself. That'd be no fun. So he needs to call back and get with it here. So we're going to play a little music till he gets back, because I absolutely refuse to interview myself.
nightdreamstalkradio.com. Hello. You there, Gary, or caller? Either one.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, James?
Yes, I hear you. I was just telling everybody about next week and what happened this week. And
Well, no one heard you.
Oh, no one heard me. Okay.
No, that was my fault because Michael called in, and when I wasn't prepared for a caller at that time, and I hit the wrong button, which put you on hold, which took me a minute to figure out how to get you out of hold. So
I didn't know if I was on hold or not, so I was acting like I was talking to the crowd anyway.
Well, it's practice. So anyway, I hear I was in Forks, Washington, working for a station. It was country, went to top 40, and it was owned by a Mormon. And the first night I was on the air, 2 Mormon missionaries came walking into the studio and said, Buddy wanted us to show you about our church. Now, I'm doing top 40, and I remember a Bee Gees song that was playing on the record player. It was called Fanny. And here's these guys in between. Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Michael's calling again. Let's find out here.
Okay.
Yes, Michael. Michael.
Hey, Gary, did you get him back yet?
Yeah, I have him back, but you're really distorted tonight, my friend.
Yeah, Mike.
Wow.
Really.
Okay, maybe I...
You got an echo.
That or you have your mic gain turned up too high.
Oh, I know. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
That sounds better.
Well, you might stay on the line and we can just talk because he couldn't get his guess. So I was saying, here I was in the radio station, right? In between the songs, playing Fanny by the Bee Gees, they're showing me slides on the wall of the Mormon church and why I should join the church. Well, I'm now freaking out, okay? Because this is like my 3rd radio job, and all 3 of them kind of like, was nothing I expected. The first one, it was supposed to be, right, top 40. It turned out to be Paranormal Talk Radio. The second one was going to be top 40, and it turned out, well, they went country. Now I'm on a station in Forks, Washington, which had 250 watts of power. That tells you I went really downhill at that point. On a clear day, you could hear us across town. But at night, because of Skip, people, were sending QSL cards to us saying they were hearing us like in England and Germany and France at night. But, during the day, hey, you're lucky at the local cafe or the hamburger shop. They would listen to my show. Anyway, here I am in between playing records, right? And they're making me go through to be, a Mormon, which I have nothing against Mormons. So people don't take that wrong. I'm sure we got Mormon listeners. Now, the next morning, the owner, Buddy, comes up to me. He goes, if you want to keep working on my station, you got to come to church with us.
Oh, boy.
Okay, now here I am. I was brought up. My family, originally, my grandmother, grandfather, were Mennonites. Okay, my dad was Catholic. My mom, I don't even know what faith she was. And I went to the Protestant church down the street from where I lived. So it was a big, shocking experience. Well, the second day I was at the radio station, he's saying, well, here's my daughter. And I go, okay, well, hi. He goes, you know what? You would make a great couple. Now, here I am in Forks, Washington, right? Doing top 40. And all of a sudden, I'm going to a Mormon church down the road. And evidently, I got a new girlfriend. And I'm doing top 40. And all of a sudden, the local priest at the Catholic church in Forks calls me up and tells me I'm going to hell.
Oh, boy.
Because I am doing, top 40, like, hi, this is Rick Stevens. You're listening to KVAC, blah, 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 that type of thing, They didn't like it because, again, they for years and years that station was country. Here I am playing this god-awfully music that, in Forks, I guess at that time, I guess playing, the Bee Gees and all the other things, like Iron Maiden was bad. So anyway, Then, after about